Hey, it's Bear With Me, and today I'm doing a halfway sketchbook tour because in this sketchbook I've drawn way too much with color and I just want to be able to take some time and show off some of the pieces I've done instead of just rushing through it to try to get this under 20 minutes. So bear with me as I show you some of my favorite things I've done in this book so far. On the cover I have Puff the polar bear, a mascot I was given by Mary Sketchbooks as a prompt. And I end up loving the character design of her so much that I end up putting her on my third cover. Her number is 26 because she is a hockey mascot. I didn't start this book in 2026 though. I started this in 2025, so the cover is slightly misleading, but I just had to put her on this cover because I've been loving her lately. So to start this off, I have my information page, which I put a post-it over. But I also have a sticker of Sunday, Van and Chip, my Sunday Bears. It was a sticker for my water bottle, but the edges were really rough, and so it started to peel off my water bottle, which was sad, but I did not want to throw it away, so I ended up just sticking it in my sketchbook front cover. On this page, I did a video on this pumpkin girl, and I was gonna draw this little guy also digitally, but I ended up only doing her. I themed it off this tissue paper I got, and I ended up drawing her on Procreate, and I absolutely loved her, and I just love pumpkin pie in general, so this was a very fun page to do. And this was for Barroween, I believe, this little black cat. I tried drawing black cats in different styles. This little guy, the eye was not dried and it smeared, so he has a legit black eye. I really liked this one, but I didn't want to mess with the lighting and the warpness, I guess, of the bottle. And then I have a little cat playing with a candle, which doesn't sound safe at all. But this I also used alcohol markers on with. This page, I just wanted to draw some quick sketches of Rocket and his friends. This part of the scene of that movie was very sad, but I liked the characters. The little bunny was debatable if it was cute or creepy. I still drew her, but I also had to draw Baby Groot because he is adorable. And then I have Rocket in the corner debating his life of how to get in this mess. On this page, it was for Thanksgiving, but it was drawn in October. I was a little ahead of time. I have Paul and Pumpkin. They are brothers and sisters. And I ended up drawing this guy and her gal on a piece of pumpkin pie. I love the drawing in my sketchbook better than the actual digital art, which I don't say often. And I've been obsessed with washi tape lately, so there will be some more in here. And then these were some ideas for digital arts. I believe I did this one. I don't think I did this one. I did not want to deal with the perspective of a table and a Christmas tree. So, and then I have some mashed potatoes, a roll, and a awkward looking pie. And of course I have Alfie right here holding a salt shaker. And I've been trying to work on my lighting, so that's why there's candles. But on this page, I have my mouse/rat, and I actually still have her on my desk with her chunky body. But I actually drew some more after that video because this page was blank, and this actually becomes Penny. I've done a digital art with her with Theo and herself. They're a little pink crew, so they're adorable together. But I've been obsessed with mice and rats lately, so bear with me. And this page was for Create This Book page. Draw the most terrifying monster. I tried using my imagination, but that did not turn out. And these, I've been trying to draw a human, but I don't know if human would count as a monster. And then I have Bob. And Bob's just chilling out next to my Minecraft page, which I actually drew the warden for that video. It's a funny little backstory. And then I have a little creeper, which I am still terrified to the day. This was for Sparkvember by Moth Girl. Each day she had a prompt, and she actually had a donut day, which I tried drawing a little, I almost said a warrior, a little soldier, because of the history of Donut Day. And then I actually drew just a lot of my characters on one page, and this isn't even all my Donut Bear characters. This was just as much as I could fit in a square. And I have more of my sketches for Sparkvember, which is really fun to do as in a memory of Spark Creative Play. And for some reason, the past year, I've been enjoying drawing houses, especially with alcohol marker, especially with brick and leaves and foliage. This little guy started it all. I was gonna draw the inside of it, but I ended up just drawing more. This little guy in the corner, I don't know if I really enjoy, but I really like these three, but it's very slanted instead of actually being straight on the page. And this was for more houses, of course, but I actually drew these where these can open, and I did try to draw the inside of these ones. They are very simple because this was not alcohol marker paper, so it did bleed very blobby. And then this one also can open. But I was enjoying the Posca pen and white gel pen to just add snow on these. On here, I started drawing more. I wanted to draw more people this year, so I drew Cindy Lou Who. I absolutely love how she came out. So this is just a Grinch page. I have Cindy Lou Who, Grinch, Martha May, and then the sweater in the Jim Carrey version, and then just little hints from the movie, and then little Max in the corner. This was for my Christmas theme this year. I left a lot of empty page on this side, surprisingly. I drew this Nutcracker. I tried to draw that one. I did not like how that came out, so I redrew a Nutcracker. But these are just some of my things I've done. I have a whole playlist of them. And then I have washi tape again, because I've been obsessed with it. Hobby Lobby has way too many washi tapes, and I'm a sucker for them, so I have a whole collection of them now. This is for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. I love the little Niffler in that movie, so I've drawn him a couple of times. Also in my last sketchbook, I believe. I believe his name is Pickett. I could be wrong. I know the Niffler. And then I've drawn some of the bakeries from, I'm blanking on his name. I'm Jacob. His name is Jacob. Sorry, Jacob. And then I have when they mix up their suitcases with the desserts. So here are some of his bakery goods. And then I have Newt. He looks very young here. And then Queenie, I say very confidently. I could be pronouncing her name wrong. And then I just have some golden coins for the little Niffler over here. And then you can also see Gary peeking out behind this, because I drew Zootopia 2 the day of I saw this, or the day after I saw this, I believe. These were also with alcohol markers. I have my little ticket in there because I was so excited. I have a little poster, and then I have a Mr. Big with his granddaughter. And then I drew this on a separate piece of paper, but I didn't want to put it in my art binder, so I put it in my sketchbook, and I just glued it in there. So this is a giant flap. I have Officer Clawhauser, and then I have Paubert. I forgot her name, but I did not like how she turned out, which was sad because I loved the character in the movie. And of course, I had to draw Nick in his pig glasses because he was so serious. And then I have Gary the Snake on this side, also with Nick creepily bleeding through the page. So this was one of the pages that took me a while, especially this guy. He looks more like, I'm blanking on his name, but the fox in the beginning of the first movie that bullies Judy, but he looks more like him instead of actually Nick, and I don't really like Judy's face. I like the dress, but I don't really like her ears, how I tried to recreate that. I went very cheap on the background with just some glitter watercolor. This is actually a place I've really enjoyed. This was the Black Bear Diner. So I drew some black bears I actually created a little character off of it, and then their menus were actually newspapers with little bears and notes and little comic strips. But I got the fish and chips, so I drew a very quick fish and chips. This post-it is just to cover some more information, but they have little black bears all over their menu, so I had to cut those out. These were gel pens I got for Christmas. I did some little doodles. I don't know what the heck that is. That explains I don't know. I drew a donut bear. I should have used that brown. They do dry lighter than they are intended to. But I drew my little vintage little guy that I put on my desk instead of actually putting outside with pen. And then I also got a watercolor kit this year, which I'm still dabbling with. But so I did him on this page, and surprisingly this paper did not warp that much. I do wish he was slightly down because like there's a bigger chunk down here than on the top. And then I got more highlighters and markers, so I drew some I drew some more balloons for Alfie theme. But so this was for Christmas. And I've been trying to draw more people. I do not like his face at all. These were just some 50 sketches that I wanted to do of clothing, and I just didn't want to do the bodies, so I had to draw a face. I regret his face, sorry. And then I tried to redraw him and redeem him, and then his face just became more and more worse. So I wanted to try to redeem myself one more time. So I drew their outfits again based off cherry pie and blueberry pie, and I actually don't hate this. It did take up a whole page, which isn't like me. I don't usually draw a whole scene like how I did the Nick and Judy, but I liked how that turned out, so I did it again, but I didn't glue this one in. I actually drew in my book. I don't hate his face in this. I made her blonde instead of brunette this time though. But I ended up using this for Valentine's Day because I absolutely loved it, shockingly. That milkshake though is way too large compared to the original sketch I had for them in that, but I put them in a little diner. The checkered board floor was a nightmare to try to plan and figure out how that would work. I don't even know if the perspective is right, but I really like it. That's another thing I need to work on, is perspective. This is the mascot from Mary's Sketchbook's prompt. I was trying to create a teenage girl, which is really hard to do when I draw bears. I tried the different hairstyles like clips, scrunchies, things like that. I really like this little bag though. I don't know why. Like, I think just the basic shapes. But I end up creating Teddy, which is the girl underneath, and then I have Puff underneath, which is Puff on here. Puff is the mascot, which is kind of creepy seeing her hold the head though, now looking at that. This is one of my favorite pages. I don't know if it's the colors or if I just really like the polar bear or the little backstory of it, but this was really fun to create. I really don't like this sketch of her, which is like the only big sketch of her, to be honest. I really like that one, so this is the one that I was like, okay, I'm gonna commit to it and actually do it. And I actually did her here, and I don't hate her. She's supposed to be a figure skater, but she's very clumsy, so I'm kind of like, how is that working for her? But I really enjoyed doing this page. And on this page, I have a Wonka page of each bar from each Wonka movie. And, oh, I'm so sorry. I still have to name her, so if you have any ideas, I have Jimmy over here, and then he had his Valentine's, so I'm still thinking of a name. I like the name June, someone recommended, I believe, but I need a name for her, so those two have been hanging out together. Sorry about that. I just knocked her over. But on this side, I have the original Wonka. I have a joke that he looks more like Owen Wilson than the actual Wonka, so I'll let you be the judge of that. And then I have this Wonka, which I do not like. I like the movie. I don't like how I drew him. I think the glasses or the smile is throwing it off. but so I don't really like this one, the way I drew him. And then I have the newest Wonka over here, which I don't mind him. I actually really liked how this one turned out, and I love how each one of them have their own specific color palette, but they kind of go well together. It's giving me Easter vibes. And then I drew an Oompa Loompa, which was kind of hard to draw, orange skin and green hair, but I really loved the outfit, and I just drew some candy around here. Of course, gummy bears I had to include. This is one of a couple of childhood memory things I've done. I watched Lego Ninjago most of the seasons as a child, all of the seasons when I was a child. There's new seasons still coming out, and I feel left behind. I have Kai, Zane, Nia, Jay, Cole, and Lloyd. I kind of drew him more in the style from the Lego movie, so this tried a more of a red color, and then that dried pink, so I think that's funny that Kai got a pink background trying to look so tough. And then I tried drawing their elements. Like, Kai was fine. I had the fire, I had snowflakes for him, the water I still kept for her. It was these two that I was struggling with, because like earth, you usually do plants, and Lloyd was just green, so I'm like, do I draw him plants or do I give him plants? So I just did the different shapes behind them. So that's why this little green lightning bolt is still there, because it would not erase, and usually my color pencils that I use to sketch erase really well. I kept these snowflakes though because I wanted to, but that lightning bolt did not want to go away, so I'm stuck with it. This was just an art block day. I wanted to draw more people. Nothing was coming, so I just took some, I am getting glitter all over my fingers. I just took some paint markers and drew blobs and stuff, and then I made Care Bears. I don't mind this one. The green glitter pen exploded on me here. I was so upset because green is my favorite color, and so when that exploded, I knew I had to draw the grumpy bear right after, because that's how I was feeling. And then I kind of went cheap with the name, but there's a lot of glitter on here, if you can see it. And it transfers over to my fingers anytime I open this page, so this page is usually just shut. So this page is actually for my younger brother. He watched Umizoomi, or Teen Umizoomi, when he was younger, and I was at the age where I would sit with him and watch the shows. It's Millie or Molly, Geo, and Bot. I drew these two kind of in my style. I really like her. I don't think I did him justice. Bot looks the exact same. I did not take any creative liberty on him. I was just like, okay, I'm done. Because after him, I was kind of disappointed. So I was like, you know what? We'll just stick with the original one. And I've been enjoying doing the alcohol marker and then Posca background or paint marker background. So there's these three for my little brother. Here's another show I watched as a child, Very Odd Parents, or Fairly Odd Parents, however you say it. I have the two godparents or fairy parents, however you would call them. It's been a while. I think her name's Wanda. It's been a while. I just drew these not too long ago, so I'm shocked. It's like they're blanking my mind. His face is kind of scary though. The white gel pen, his eyes bled all green, and then I had to cover it in white gel pen, and then he just doesn't look like his goofy self. She I actually liked. I love the hair and her just face in general, it's fine. And then Baby Poof, how do I know his name? I was debating if I wanted to draw him or not, but I drew him and I absolutely loved him, and so I was like, you are going in here. I tried to draw him bald with just the little string of hair, the little whoop, but he wasn't looking right, so I had to give him some purple hair. But he is absolutely adorable. And then I have Timmy. I don't sound confident saying that. But then I have the parents in the fish bowl. Very odd parents as a fish bowl. Was that English? I don't know. But I have him. I don't really absolutely like him. I actually did him the day after because this whole page was blank. But he also did not turn out the best. So I love these two. I don't know honestly about him, but these two are my favorite out of this. And I just love the colors, how they just blend together, and the sparkles. But yeah, so this page was also a childhood show. This was for Valentine's Day. It was way before Valentine's Day though. This was in January. More washi tape. I don't have a lot of panda characters, and I wanted to create a character that was based off Valentine's Day. So I made a pink panda over here with a velvet and chocolate donut. I tried it again as a chocolate very quickly, and then I gave her some clothes. I was like, well, they could be a cupid, and so I drew her again. This is very pink. I drew some chocolate strawberries and then the velvet donut for her ear. This actually opens up. I was gonna draw something in here. I never got to it, and I kind of forgot about it when it was past Valentine's Day, so I was like, well, I guess it's gonna be blank. It can open, but there's nothing in there. This page is of Wally and Eve. This actually is where I was drawing them. I didn't have my protector over here, and I was using alcohol marker paper without the protector, so it kind of bled, so you see his little eyes there. I drew Wally and Eve on a separate paper. I was actually not gonna draw them as human, but I wanted to put them in my sketchbook because I just loved how they looked. And then I was like, well, what am I gonna put on this side? And I've been trying to draw a human, so I tried drawing Wally and Eve as human. He looks like a banana, his pants do. I actually really like Wally. I don't really like Eve in the sense, I feel like she's just so modern. There's not that much I could have done for her. I did do a digital art of them, but I don't know if the digital art even made that look better. So I really like Wally, I just don't like her. This page was for Mary Sketchbook's Sketchbook Club. That's a mouthful. But it was pink, so I took all my pink alcohol markers and put them there, and then I took a couple of my pink Poscas or paint pens, and I was like, let me just go full out. I blinked after I did this. I was gonna draw a pink character for this page, but not too long ago I did this pink page, so I was like, what do I do? So I drew some more childhood things. I drew My Little Pony. I watched that for a while. I watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, surprisingly. It was a show that I remembered very well. And then I drew Clifford. I actually have not watched many Cliffords. I don't know why I drew Clifford. Clifford's more of a red, but I think it kind of pulled it off. He would have been way bigger though than Courage. So the proportions on that are definitely off. And then my peeps or peps, however I spelt that. Let's not look at that. These are my characters I've created. I have my little strawberry shortcake mouse, and then a strawberry shortcake bunny, and then I have my little seal that is sunburnt. Usually she's on a sprinkled donut, but I wanted to put her on a drizzle donut. She looks very sunburned here, but this is one of my favorite pages. I just love how pink it is, and here's some more washi tape. But then I realized I haven't done a lot of studies on animals in this book. It's been mostly buildings or people, and I realized I've never drawn a possum. So I drew a possum. These two are kind of meh, but I absolutely love this little guy. And then I realized I haven't drawn a honey badger, and I'm a Hufflepuff surprisingly, so I'm shocked that I haven't drawn one. So I drew these four. I absolutely love this little guy over here. You can see the next page coming through. I love alcohol markers, but that's the one downside, especially if you're layering like 100 layers like I do. They do bleed, but that's why I've been gluing some pages in. And then I've never drawn hedgehogs. I've only drawn one once, I realized after this, but this little guy is my favorite over here. This is for night at the museum. I believe it's Jedediah and Octavius. I believe this is Octavius and this is Jedediah. I could be wrong. But so I drew these two, and then I drew a little quick scene over here because I didn't want to draw any more characters. Because these were already so small, it would have looked weird, them at the same size, but somehow these guys are smaller than they actually are. And then I actually I drew the tablet over here. I tried working on the gold effect. Don't know how well I completed that, but this is one of my favorite movies, so I had to draw those two. This is Owen Wilson. It's supposed to be the actor is Owen Wilson, but I personally think my Wonka looked more like Owen Wilson than this one, so I find that funny. And here we are at my halfway point. I wanted to do a little halfway like checkpoint or just a larger piece of art because it was my halfway. I've been seeing a lot of half birthday cakes on my Pinterest lately, so I drew a couple of those. I didn't really like the idea of that. I drew Puff standing up the whole way, and then I also drew it with a little party hat because I really like the idea of the birthday cake, but not the actual cake itself. And then I drew this little guy, and then so over here I have Puff as my halfway marker. There are a couple pages I've already worked on this other half. You can see some of the work, but that's gonna be for part 2 because I'm gonna do the second part of the sketchbook when I actually fully finish it because I only have like 3 pages of here done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for staying along if you did to hear me ramble on about some of these sketches I've done today. Well, I've done it in the past that I'm showing today, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and bear with me as I try to get more videos out. I've been trying to film more, but life's life, so I've been trying. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and bye!